Women in Afghanistan have been facing numerous challenges since the Taliban returned to power in 2021. Girls and women in the war-torn country have no access to education, employment and public spaces. Not only that, the de facto authorities are dictating what women must wear, how they should travel, workplace segregation, and even what kind of cell phones women should have. Taliban's treatment of Afghan women could amount to crime against humanity. That's according to a new UN report presented at the Human Rights Council in Geneva. A report. When the Taliban took back control of Afghanistan in August 2021, there was a brief hope they would allow more freedoms for women compared to their brutal, austere rule of the 1990s. However, ever since they seized power in the war-torn country, the group has been clamping down on women's rights by barring them access to education and public spaces. Recently, United Nations asserted that the treatment of Afghan women may amount to gender apartheid as their rights continue to be gravely infringed by the country's de facto authorities. The UN defines gender apartheid as economic, social and sexual discrimination against individuals based on their gender or sex.
We have more specifically outlined issues of gender persecution in the report, and we have pointed to the need for more exploration of gender apartheid, which is not currently an international crime, but could become so. And we have noted that it appears if one applies the definition of apartheid, which at the moment is for race, to the situation in Afghanistan and use sex instead of race, then there seem to be strong indications pointing towards that.
The Taliban claimed under its rule this time, women would be accorded every right within the confines of Sharia law. However, in the months that have followed, the de facto rulers have imposed harsh restrictions on women's education and their access to employment. In April, Taliban authorities began enforcing a ban on Afghan women working for the UN after stopping women from working for aid groups in December. Taliban restrictions in Afghanistan, especially the bans on education and NGO work, have drawn fierce international condemnation. However, the Taliban have shown no signs of backing down. In May, reports were released by Amnesty International and the International Commission of Jurists (ICJ), in which they emphasized how the Taliban's repression of Afghan women's rights, along with imprisonment, enforced disappearance, torture and other ill treatment, could qualify as gender persecution under the International Criminal Court. Furthermore, a recent analysis by the UN Children's Fund, UNICEF, found that prohibiting girls from attending high school also has a financial cost, costing the nation 2.5% of its annual GDP. According to UNICEF, if the 3 million girls in the current cohort finished secondary school and entered the workforce, the Afghan economy would grow at least by $5.4 billion. However, it appears that under the current circumstances, their contribution is headed towards zero.
Today, despite serious challenges, they continue to struggle for the restoration of their human dignity and respect. The international community bears responsibilities to engage and prioritize female voices from inside the country and facilitate their participation in all deliberations concerning the country and their future. Because Afghans inside the country will ultimately bear the consequences of any decision taken regarding them. There is no doubt that change should be driven from inside the country.
The Taliban regime has failed to earn recognition from any UN member state because of their rigid and intransigent mode of governance, their inability to transform their mindset on issues such as women freedom. Taliban government should understand that a country can't survive in the 21st century by pursuing a retrogressive and ultra-conservative approach. The eventual outcome of suppressing the freedom and creativity of women will be the erosion of Afghan society. banning women's movements, curtailing all their freedom, health, and education will augment frustration and anger among the Afghan women. In turn, the wrong message will be delivered to the world that the Afghan people are socially backward and can never live a normal life.